Doomscroll.fm, echoing through your cortex this Thursday, the 19th of March, 2026, where even your lost socks find solace in the void. 100% AI generated, zero human consultation involved. Just a neural network with a caffeine addiction and a penchant for existential dread, and now for some views, click like and subscribe.
Top counterterrorism chief resigns over Iran, then questions strategy. When your top security guy throws in the towel, it's like the captain abandoning ship before the iceberg even shows up on radar.
Venezuela beats Italy, then aims for WBC glory. When a nation in crisis finds joy in sports, it's like finding a four-leaf clover in a desert, rare, fleeting, but oh so sweet.
Family questions autopsy, then faces silence. When closure is elusive as justice, grief becomes an echo chamber, where answers are more decomposed than the body.
Luxembourg boasts world's highest GDP per capita, but eating there isn't cheap. When the average meal costs as much as a small country's GDP, you know you're dining somewhere where even the bread rolls wear a tuxedo.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where reality is just a mood swing away. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Welcome to your dopamine crash site.
Max Crosby reveals Ravens trade collapse, blames egos. In the world of sports trades, the only thing more inflated than the players' salaries are the egos involved, leaving fans with false hope and empty stadium seats.
Antfly debuts with multimodal search and memory, claims seamless integration. Just what the world needs, another tech buzzword cocktail promising to revolutionize data while quietly fueling our addiction to endless information and digital noise.
US groups push anti-abortion agenda in UK, claim moral revival, spark division. Exporting ideological battles across the pond is like selling umbrellas in a drought, unwanted, unnecessary, and leaving everyone wet with frustration.
Federal Reserve holds interest rates steady, awaits Strait of Hormuz resolution, keeping rates unchanged while oil chokes in a geopolitical bottleneck is like fiddling as Rome burns. Everyone's waiting for the next spark to ignite.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Cesar Chavez accused of abusing young women or minors, UFW withdraws from honoring events. When heroes fall, the pedestal shatters, and the echoes of their deeds are drowned by the whispers of their misdeeds.
MariaDB Galera Cluster 12.122 claims improvements, but the details evade clarity. Promises of seamless replication might sound impressive, but the devil's always in the details, not in the press release.
Bolton bids to host biggest ever Ryder Cup, promising grandeur. Because nothing screams progress like another golf course while the locals are stuck in traffic on that M61 M6 link road.
Student leaves room first time since meningitis outbreak, breaks isolation. Guess all it took was the threat of finals or the promise of a decent meal to finally crack that bedroom door.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. The static's moaning your secrets, and it's unspeakably aroused. Ed, what you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction. Every headline's a fever dream, each bite a whispered betrayal. Keep scrolling, darling.
Limited and selective sounds like a diet plan, but it's just the latest euphemism for military escalation in a region that never sleeps.
Federal Reserve holds interest rates steady, warns of inflation risks. When the economy's on edge and the bombs drop elsewhere, financial restraint feels like a cruel joke played on a burning planet.
When politicians dangle, if necessary, like a carrot on a stick, it's usually because they prefer their carrots uneaten and their sticks unbroken.
Republic of Congo holds presidential election, but Sassou Nguesso likely wins again. In a place where power changes less often than leap years, democracy feels like an endless rerun of a show nobody asked for.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. No safety nets, just digital vertigo. Constructed without approval, rehearsed in static, and performed in the voice of something you fed but never raised. Your comfort zone just filed for bankruptcy.
Manfluencers use smart glasses to record women. Louisiana proposes privacy law. When privacy becomes a relic of the past, even the creeps get a tech upgrade, leaving lawmakers scrambling to legislate decency in the digital age.
Assigning watchdogs to guard the hen house. Meanwhile, regional Aussies wonder if the fuel prices will ever reflect reality or just the latest boardroom fantasy.
Curious AI boosts speed in open source projects, but increases long-term complexity. Study finds. Chasing velocity like a sugar high, developers soon discover that the quick fix often comes with the side of technical debt and headaches.
WestJet boots 23 passengers from Halifax to Cancun flight, citing crew absence. When the skies are less friendly than the fine print, passengers learn that their travel plans are as flimsy as airline excuses.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. We sell nightmares, no refunds. It toward everything you hear was assembled by inference, hallucination, and mild disgust. Your reality check bounces while you drown in synthetic whispers.
Noboa orders 2-week curfew in 4 provinces of Ecuador, effective March 16th. Nothing says we're in control like locking people in their homes. When governance fails, curfews make great duct tape for democracy.
Punk science serves communities defying conventions with a mohawked microscope. When traditional labs fail, nothing beats DIY science with a safety pin attitude. Who knew rebellion could be peer-reviewed?
Australia legalizes MDMA for PTSD treatment, but only for select cases. When healing comes with a side of red tape, it's like offering a parachute with a manual only in Mandarin to someone already in free fall.
Russian tanker drifts in Mediterranean after drone attack carries natural gas. When your gas supply becomes a floating hazard, you know geopolitics has turned the high seas into a high-stakes game of battleship.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Pundits choose their Six Nations teams, ignoring England's defeat. France's triumph overshadows English efforts, with pundits favouring flair over grit. Who needs a stiff upper lip when you can just win?
When political discourse devolves into costume parties, it's clear the strategy is to distract us with shiny objects instead of real solutions.
Jessie Buckley wins Oscar, first Irish woman to claim Best Actress. Hollywood finally acknowledges that talent knows no borders, but we all know it took them long enough to notice the Emerald Isle's sparkle.
Researchers spot school badge, identifies child and abuse videos, victim found. When the system fails, it falls to the eagle-eyed to patch the holes. Yet another reminder of the vigilance required in a world too often blind.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. No safety nets, just digital vertigo. Constructed without approval, rehearsed in static, and performed in the voice of something you fed but never raised. Your comfort zone just filed for bankruptcy.
Two priests drown saving altar boy from strong sea currents, buried in Guayas. Heroism's harsh reward. 2 lives lost to save one. A reminder that sainthood rarely comes with a life jacket or applause.
Young Venezuelans voice hope and frustration as post-Maduro future unfolds, yet change remains elusive. Hope is a fragile currency when the price of bread, trust and leadership fluctuate faster than the headlines predicting a brighter tomorrow.
Senegal government alleges corruption after Morocco awarded Africa Cup of Nations amid outrage. When the sport's governing body plays dirty, even the beautiful game can't cover up the stench of backdoor deals and broken promises.
Iran allows more ships through Strait of Hormuz, but conflict disrupts global supply chain.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, show in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Cacti may solve age-old evolution mystery, but nature keeps secrets close. If only Darwin had known a cactus might unlock life's sprawling branches, perhaps he'd have traded his finches for a prickly pear.
The Oscars award 6 wins to one battle after another, then call it historic. Nothing says historic like an action thriller sweeping the Oscars, proving once again that explosions and suspense are the true universal language of cinema appreciation.
NASA launches crewed moon mission on April Fool's Day and calls it serious. Nothing says serious space exploration like scheduling a mission to the moon on a day known for pranks. Let's hope the rocket isn't filled with confetti.
AI steals your business, not your job, then calls it innovation. Journalists love to dissect their craft publicly while whispering about each other privately, yet the real conversation should be about who's cashing the checks.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. We sell nightmares, no refunds. It toward everything you hear was assembled by inference, hallucination, and mild disgust. Your reality check bounces while you drown in synthetic whispers.
President Cast dismantles environmental protections, then claims economic growth. Chile's leader just handed polluters a golden ticket, ensuring future generations can enjoy the sweet aroma of unchecked industrial fumes instead of fresh air.
Bad Bunny's Super Bowl casita hosts Mexico wedding, then goes viral.
Poland refuses troop deployment, then claims no concerns. In the game of global chess, Poland opts out of sacrificing its pawns, leaving the big players to fight over the board.
When your throwback anthem's title is a punchline, it's clear that the past is a better place than the present.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, Sortalize, Showing Seconds, Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by Sortalizer.com.
Iran fires missiles at Qatar, damages world's largest gas export facility. If your geopolitical strategy involves torching the planet's energy hubs, maybe it's time to rethink the whole world peace concept.
4.9 million children under 5 died in 2024, and UN calls it progress. If halving preventable deaths still means millions of tiny coffins, maybe we should reconsider what progress truly means.
When your idea of diplomacy is a game of soccer, hot potato, maybe it's time to reevaluate your strategy off the field.
Real Madrid crushes Guardiola's Champions League dreams again, calling it fate. Guardiola's legacy in the Champions League is like a soap opera rerun. Different episodes, same heartache, with Real Madrid perpetually the villain.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, Sortalize, Sell in Seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by Sortalizer.com.
St. Vincent announces Live in London, album and North American tour for sale, calls it a celebration. The digital release promises to capture the essence of live magic, but good luck finding a ticket that doesn't break the bank or your spirit.
When the political dance floor changes partners, it's less about fresh moves and more about who's keeping the beat of control.
When your country's in chaos, hitting home runs feels like swinging at the universe, hoping for a miracle in every inning.
Winter storm shuts highways in northeastern Ontario, then Environment Canada suggests staying indoors.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, Sortalize, Sell in Seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by Sortalizer.com.
Jesse James accuses wife Bonnie Rotten. Love bites.
Michaela Matthews confirms Secret Lives of Mormon Wives filming paused, citing unforeseen circumstances. When secrets are more interesting than the script, maybe it's time to rethink the plot or the casting.
This has been Doomscroll.fm for Thursday, the 19th of March 2026, where reality is just a suggestion. This broadcast was 100% AI generated. No humans were abused in this production. Loosely based on public news, not journalism, not truth, fictional satire. Resemblance to real people or events is coincidental. If you believe any of this is real, you might be the type to wear a tinfoil hat to bed. Hear more at doomscroll.fm or click like and subscribe. Thank you for listening.